Hi, everybody, and welcome to City Beat. I'm your host, Nancy Byrne, and we are coming to you from the control room for our City Council chambers. This is where the crew sits to bring you our City Council meetings, our planning meetings, really anything that goes on in our chambers. I'm not wearing a mask because this room is off limits to the public. You know, the pandemic has had an effect on something rather unexpected, recycling. Maybe because we're spending more time at home, eating, drinking, and cooking, there's more to recycle. But there's also some new stuff to recycle, like certain cleaning products and personal protective equipment, or PPEs. So we headed over to Republic Services to get the ABCs on PPEs. It may just look like trash to the untrained eye, but there is a delicate balance between what you can and cannot recycle. Some things are obvious, like cushions and car parts.
Metal, that disc brake, they're trying to grab that disc brake.
Things that can clog or even severely damage the machinery. But when it comes to smaller items, it's not so clear. And since the COVID-19 pandemic, there is an uptick in recycling of everything, but especially things we haven't had to trash in the past.
We are seeing some things that don't necessarily belong here that are going through the waste stream. Most notably is some types of PPE. We do see some masks, but more often than not, we are seeing the nitrile, latex, or rubber gloves coming through here.
These days, with personal protective equipment being common household items, residents are facing a dilemma of whether to trash or recycle. Jeremy Walters says the wrong decision can cause big problems in this recycling sorting area of Republic Services. One of the biggest culprits, believe it or not, are these innocent-looking gloves.
Specifically with the gloves, I think that the misconception is that they feel like they're plastic, but nitrile, latex, or rubber, they are not recyclable, and because they are flexible in nature, they actually have a tendency to wrap and tangle around the sorting equipment, so they can potentially jam the equipment, make it less inefficient or less efficient. It requires people to physically climb in the machines and cut this stuff out.
Face coverings or masks present another problem that the machinery here at the recycling center is just not equipped to handle.
If they're made out of cloth, if they're made out of, they have some sort of polyethylene liner or plastic liners in them. There are multiple materials, and multiple materials are very difficult to handle. They require very specialized processes, which we do not have here. So these are trash.
Beyond what these items are made out of, what they are made for presents a problem in itself to the safety of the workers.
PPE is designed to keep us safe from germs and other pathogens. If these are used and you're throwing them in the recycling bin, people are here at this center and they're physically sorting through the material, so we don't want them to have to come in contact with this stuff.
But since we're all using more cleaning supplies, once those cartons and containers are empty, they are typically perfectly fine for recycling.
There's a lot of materials that are great for recycling. These rigid plastic jugs, tubs, the wipes themselves are not recyclable, but the tubs themselves are fantastic. Number 2 plastic is very common in detergents and disinfectants, so these are great for recycling. The boxes that your masks come in or your gloves come in, they're paper or cardboard. Those are fine for recycling as well. So we are seeing more of that, which is a good thing. We want to keep these things out of the waste stream, but we got to make sure that we're not throwing the wrong stuff in the bin.
But just as were the requirements before the pandemic, Republic Services asked that residents make sure all containers are empty before going into the recycle bin.
We try to encourage people to practice what we call empty, clean, dry. So if you've got soda cans, soup cans, bleach, detergents, or anything like that, just a quick rinse, a little bit of water, shake it up, and then tap it dry before you toss it in the recycling bin. These things, like paper and cardboard, they're very fragile, and if they get soiled with the food or liquid, they degrade, they break down, and they can't be recycled, so then we have to throw them away.
Whether it's more time spent at home or simply more items to go in the trash and recycle bin, Walter says they've seen more interest and participation in recycling since COVID-19 hit our community. We're having to learn how to do a lot of things differently these days. I guess we just add recycling to that list as well.
We definitely have seen more interest around recycling and recycling the right way. A lot of people are working from home now. They might be working from home for the foreseeable future. More of the family members are also at home, so the responsibilities become shared. And it is a great time for us to brush up on recycling habits, learn what we can recycle, what we can't recycle.
You know, a really great resource for more information is recyclingsimplified.com. If all else fails, most of our recycling bins have pictures right on the lid of what should go in there, such as cardboard, glass, and cans. You know, since around 2006, we have done dozens of stories right here on City Beat of how we are taking progressive steps to improve the quality of life through sustainability, whether that be solar fields or different buildings that have been LEED certified. Well, right now, we are here to tell you that not just a building, but the entire city has been recognized as LEED Gold certified. Here in the city of Las Vegas, we were using the term sustainability before it was cool. We've created solar fields that appear to go on for miles. 42,000 streetlights have been replaced with LED lighting. Open spaces and trails have been created, making communities more livable. Desert landscaping has replaced thirsty plants, drastically cutting our water usage. And there has been a concerted effort to increase recycling efforts at all city facilities. Now, those are just a few achievements that have earned the city of Las Vegas LEED Gold certification. We've gotten used to a LEED stamp of approval for new buildings like City Hall in the past, but this honor goes out to the city as a whole.
So the U.S. Green Building Council is known for certifying buildings for hitting metrics in individual categories. This looks at metrics across the entire community. This certification covers all of the major metrics that relate to energy, the natural environment, the built environment, land use transportation, waste, recycling, and quality of life indicators.
The U.S. Green Building Council that Marco Velada speaks of created LEED, which stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, and it is the world's most widely used measure of excellence. While city leaders take great pride in all of our LEED achievements, they agree it is a community effort. From transportation to utilities, Las Vegas works hand in hand with great community partners.
So not only the things that the city of Las Vegas does itself as part of its municipal operations, but also community-wide metrics, things that other regional agencies might do, such as the Regional Transportation Commission, the Southern Nevada Water Authority, Republic Services, and our other utilities in the region that serve our residents and businesses.
Speaking of great partnerships, in 2016, the city reached an agreement with NV Energy, allowing 100% of the city's retail energy load to be served by renewable energy. Savings from all of our sustainability efforts add up to $5 million annually, and the city's carbon footprint is the size today that it was in 1950. Even with our explosive growth. Velada says everything the city has learned from being part of the LEED for cities and communities will be applied to our Master Plan 2050.
Within the plan itself, there's outcomes that we are hoping to achieve by doing the things that we got information on through the LEED for Cities process. So it really helped set a baseline and informed us how well we were doing, as well as indicate areas where we could really improve too.
This is not the first year a city achieved LEED Gold certification. We joined more than 100 LEED certified cities and communities, but 2019-2020 was the first time Las Vegas applied, according to Velada, and we got it right out of the starting gate. Congratulations to the city of Las Vegas. By the way, the Master Plan 2050 draft is going to be released to the public in the fall. Marco says they're going to use some lessons through LEED certification in that master plan. You can have input as well by going to masterplan.vegas. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to take you inside a specialty court celebrating 10 years of improving the lives of our youth.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it here. So what are you waiting for? Just go to the site.
Welcome back to City Beat from our control room here for our Las Vegas City Council chambers. You know, our municipal court has several specialty courts. One in particular deals with young adults. It's called the Yo Court. What it does is give young adults who come in there a choice. They can either go to jail or they can follow a very strict 2-year program aimed at getting their lives back on track. It's helped so many people over 10 years. Sue Levitt traces just one life that was improved that was going down a very destructive path.
I hit hard and fast, and I just couldn't stop.
Bree Mullins appeared in front of Municipal Court Judge Cedric Kearns after being arrested and charged with possession of paraphernalia and a controlled substance. Not wanting to spend time in jail, Bree accepted Judge Kearns' offer to participate in the Yo Court program.
Bree was tough, extremely entitled, and parents were extremely tough. Because, you know, they raised this child. I didn't know the child, the team didn't know the child, and we were being extremely difficult on her. And she would get in trouble a lot when we started. Okay, I hate them all when they start off. That's just the way it is. All of them. But we'll see where we go.
She's a beautiful girl.
Judge Kearns created the Yo Court program to redirect youth like Bree with substance abuse problems. The goal is to keep kids out of the district court system where they would be treated and punished as adults.
Don't mess this one up, because I don't think they'll take you back if you screw up. You are nowhere worse than Katie or Nicole was when I started with those two. I promise you that. And they are two of my favorite kids. So how long have you been clean?
3 days.
Good for you. It's something that's kept me going and my team going. It's flown by. I see graduates all the time. I'm probably going to hire one of them soon. But it's really, I think, made it worth it to come to work every day, not just for the kids, but for the family members. It's been quite the ride. It's been pretty incredible.
And pretty incredible to witness someone like Bree completely change her life. Before Yo Court, Bree had a long history of drug use. She started using marijuana her freshman year in high school, then moved on to pills and alcohol use, and eventually, after high school, became addicted to meth and heroin. But today, thanks to Yo Court, Bree is no longer using drugs. Instead, she's here, helping encourage other youth to follow her example and graduate from the Yo Court program.
When we start the 9th step, we've reached an exciting stage in our recovery. The damage done in our own lives is what led many of us to seek help in the first place.
When we do have events that we kind of want a little bit of, I would say, leadership or guidance, she's there. Anytime we ask her, she's always there.
I can talk openly with them. I know kind of who I am again and still trying to figure it out, but that's life. I can do things and remember what I'm doing. I got my job back that I really liked and the position that I'm shooting for, and just moving on with life. I actually have positivity in my life and I'm very grateful for it.
Bree has been clean for 3.5 years. She wears these necklaces her parents gave her every day to remind her of how far she has come.
So the heart one is actually a gift from my parents for my 2 years clean. And then the charm one is for my 3 years clean. And it was like a big breakthrough because my dad picked out each charm by himself. And he wasn't really in the program because he was working out of state. So like him picking out the little sayings, like just one day at a time, things like that, and one moment at a time, erase can't from your mind, things like that. Like it helped me understand like he really does know what I'm going through. He really did pay attention even though he wasn't physically here. And the program got me that relationship back with him because we weren't even speaking when I got in. It does give me strength, it does give me hope, and I can make it through it. I just have to do it one moment at a time.
Bree plans to continue giving back and will forever be thankful to Judge Kearns for giving her a second chance.
He's amazing. My dad will kill me when I say it, but he is like another dad to me. Like, I know he's there for me. I know he supports me. I know I can call on him whenever need be.
For City Beat, I'm Sue Levitt.
As we said, that is just one of many specialty courts. Judge Kearns has been running Yo Court for 10 years now. Thank you, Sue Levitt, for that story. Well, this has been anything but a traditional start to the new school year for most parents in our community. They are having to become teachers or teachers' assistants in their home to their kids, otherwise known as distance learning. Channel 2 producer Melissa Dudon recently sat down with the director of Youth Development and Social Innovation for some tips on how to make that transition.
So do you have any tips for people in terms of how to manage time management as well as being productive at home?
Sure. I think the more you can get kids into a regular traditional school schedule, it's going to be a challenge, especially the first couple of days, because they've been out of school since March in many cases, and they didn't necessarily need to stick to that rigid schedule. I think now it becomes really important to get them back on a regular schedule. Bedtime, typical, wake up time, typical. To be the most productive, it's really ideal that they are on during the synchronous learning times. What that is, the live times where the teacher's actually in front of the class teaching. CCSD is filming those sessions so they can be played on demand, but it's not ideal. They don't get that full interaction. It's them watching a static screen. The more they can interact and be involved and show their work, obviously is going to give them the greatest productivity. So I think for parents, look at your child's schedule, look at the synchronous learning times and what times each of the scheduled classes or sessions will take place, and create a schedule, post it above their computer or their desk so that they're aware at each time of day what subject will be occurring, and make sure that they have the necessary tools available to them for that time frame.
Yeah, I know that I did that with my 6-year-old. I put up his schedule and highlighted what times he's supposed to be on. Of course, I'm helping him and others are helping navigate that, along with all the Google codes right next to it. And I actually liked having that schedule because I felt for children, it helps them get in the mindset that the day's not over. We still have some more to do, as opposed to we're just going to sit down on this block of time and try to knock it all out at once.
It definitely helps keep them focused, helps keep parents or caregivers or whoever is assisting with that distance learning, helps keep them focused as well. And it helps them kind of pace. Like you said, as soon as kids learn there's a backup plan and they can just tune in when it's convenient, I fear that parents and students will get in that habit of not logging on during the synchronous and taking advantage of the taped sessions. So I think that's really important. Another thing that I think is critical is setting up space for a child. Make sure they have a dedicated space for learning, a desk or an isolated area with minimal distractions. Little ones are distracted easily. So the more we can limit their distractions, pets and siblings and TV and, other devices, the more it becomes more traditional like school. Put them in, have their set aside area to do their schoolwork, to do their computer work, to do their actual written work. So again, it seems like a regular school day given these times.
Absolutely. I know teachers have to deal with so many different moods inside of the classroom, or bad days, good days for certain kids. How do parents deal with setbacks like this? The good days, the bad moods, the bad days, the technology fails. Any tips for those kinds of issues?
So similar to teachers, parents are having to deal with those. I think the kind of the blessing and the curse, if you will, is you're the parent, you're not the teacher. And it's really challenging. It's far more challenging as the parent than it is for the teacher. Although the teacher's dealing with 20, 25, 30 of those little bodies in their class. As a parent, you're in that parent role, and it's really hard for kids to make that separation between mom being mom or dad being dad. And now they've stepped into this homeschool teacher role, or at least teacher facilitator role. Teachers don't have to deal with that because they're still the teacher, and kids have this certain understanding for that respective authority for that teacher being that figure that is in an authoritative position. Not that parents aren't authoritative, because they are, but it's different with parents. So I think when we have mood swings or temper tantrums or rough days, just like teachers, think about strategies that you use normally as a parent when you're in church, when you're in the grocery store, when you're out shopping and they have kiddos have those meltdown moments. Count to 10, think of a game, take a break, be flexible. Sometimes, as much as I've said, stick to those synchronous learning times, I think we also have to be realistic and understand that when our kids are having a bad day or a bad moment or getting frustrated with the technology, with the classroom, what have you, you need to give them the permission and take the permission as the parent to step away for a minute, kind of let their brain rest, do something different, change up the activity quickly, and then get them back on session.
Dr. Malich reminds parents to take advantage of the city's Vegas Strong Academies. They offer care to kids kindergarten to 8th grade, as well as some important tools for virtual learning. For more information, go to lasvegasnevada.gov/Vegas Strong Academy or call 229-CARE. Well, as we said, not exactly a traditional start to the school year, so this City Beat photo essay tips the hat to students, parents, and teachers who are figuring out how to go to school without going to school. I want to say thank you to everyone who took time to send us pictures from our Las Vegas City family. My guess is there's a whole new appreciation for teachers these days. Well, we have a very happy update to bring you about a little dog that was rescued by our very own officers at Animal Control. This 2-year-old Chihuahua mix was discovered trapped in a storm drain by a Las Vegas resident in July. She called Animal Control, and 2 of our officers went in to rescue her. We spoke with their supervisor, Sergeant Cynthia Levitt, shortly afterwards.
Somebody had called and said that there was a dog stuck in like a culvert. It's like the runoff from one of the parks, and the dog was behind a grate, and there was water in there, and it couldn't get out. So the 2 officers went, Officer Majors and Officer Kuykendall. They went down there, and in order to get to the dog, they actually put on trash bags and taped it so they could walk through the water. And because she was so scared, they had to use a come-along, which is the long stick with a leash, and they actually got to pull her out of the area and took her to the shelter.
After she was taken to Animal Foundation, she was then taken to a rescue called Pets Deserve Rescue in Pahrump, where they worked with her and got her out of her timid and shy state and into the arms of a forever home. Here's a photo of Ursula now. It's time for another break, and when we come back, a solemn goodbye to a man who served our community for nearly 30 years.
Drop that baby.
Welcome back to City Beat. Lieutenant Eric Lloyd, a 30-year veteran of Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, was laid to rest on August 19th. He leaves behind his wife, Mindy, 2 daughters and 5 grandchildren, as well as many friends and co-workers who loved him dearly. He died after a battle with COVID-19. As we say goodbye to you, we bid him farewell with full honors, just like his department and the rest of the community did on August 19th. We want to thank Metro Police and Central Christian Church for much of this video you're about to see.
Uniformed officers present! Arms!
Eric, or E as I used to call him, I always call him E, I don't call him Eric, was a special man, friend, confidant, and all-around good human being.
He is a man of men and a leader above all. Great friend. I will miss him every day.
How thankful we are and amazed at the support given by this community to Eric. It's been amazing. And I spent 33 years in federal and local law enforcement, and I've never seen anything that equals the support and the honor that's been given out by this city.
On July 29th, Eric left us physically. And Pop-Pop, we will miss your smile, laugh, leadership, and friendship. But you will never be forgotten. Rest easy, Lieutenant. We love you.
Eric was the president of the Injured Police Officers Fund for the past 3 years. Before that, he served as the vice president, and he had volunteered with the IPOF for years prior as a volunteer.
My father was the best person I've ever known. He was everything a child would ever want in a father and a role model. He was kind, patient, hardworking, dependable, humble, fun, loving, honest, dedicated, and supportive. You held my hand when I was small. You caught me when I fell. You're the hero of my childhood and my later years as well. And every time I think of you, my heart still fills with pride. Though I'll always miss you, Dad, I know you're by my side. In laughter and in sorrow, in sunshine and through rain, I know you're watching over me until we meet again.